Hignet's corner, beyond Bent. Janssen! And Blackburn Rovers are 18 minutes away from a Premiership return.
As far as Stewart, just outside the penalty area, clips it central for David Dunn. David Dunn equalises! It just had to be. Dax corner and it goes. Glance towards goal! And Rovers have taken the lead! And Charlie Mulgrew has scored his 14th of the season. It may well be the goal that sends Rovers back into the Championship.
Good evening or good morning, Blackburn Rovers fans, wherever you are watching live across the world, and welcome to episode 2 of Breakfast with Rovers Chat with myself, Ollie Walker-Peel, back for yet another show after last week went so well. As always, get your comments into the comments box and I'll get to those as soon as they come in. Please, of course, as always, remember to subscribe, turn the notification bell on and like the video if you want to see more content like this. Just a few more bits of housekeeping that we've got to do before we get into all the stuff that's on the agenda. This morning we of course have got our brilliant charity quiz up and coming with loads of Rovers related players getting themselves involved. You can see the prizes up on the screen now. Elliot Bennett, Joe Rothwell, John Buckley amongst those getting involved, which is brilliant to see. So get yourselves involved for that because it is quite incredible. I think the main one there, I think definitely Elliot Bennett, obviously recently departing the club, obviously to Shrewsbury. You can win his signed boots there, which have kindly been signed by the former Rovers players. To enter, just go to the tweet here. Obviously, as you can see, it says that we'll be giving away one lucky pair of signed boots courtesy of Elliot Bennett. To him with a chance of winning, like and retweet to spread the word, and then donate wherever you can via rcdonate.com. Reply this tweet with a screenshot to enter. So if you haven't done that yet, make sure you do so to be in with a chance. And then from there, obviously, there's loads of other prizes you can win from there. Obviously, this was released the other day, teasing the players that maybe that are involved in the big summer lineup coming up, 27th of July. Something to look forward to. The likes of Buckley, Graham, Bennett, Rankin Costello, Annesley, Pike, Garrett and Barnes, all already involved. And there's a few more there that have been blocked out that we'll reveal over the coming days. So can't wait for all of that. So that's all of that stuff done on the intro. But now we've got all of the stuff to get into. As we go to the comments, we've got our first comment saying sup from Ben Hayward Art. Thanks for joining us. So we'll just get all that starting now. Get the banner across the bottom to plug the charity. Yet again, a good milestone there as we're on the way towards 1,000. So we're doing really well in that regard. So keep giving because obviously that helps, especially on the social side, helps people in perhaps less fortunate positions to give themselves a chance at really fulfilling their potential. So it's brilliant to see that. In terms of the first thing on the agenda is season tickets. We've got that to talk about again. Obviously, won my little sing-song last week, which we're not going to go there again. Had a bit of interesting feedback off the back of that, which is more than fair enough. I knew I was making people's ears bleed, but we won't be going back there. Alejandro's back in the comments. We'll bring him up in a moment. Brilliant, Alejandro. It's great to have you here, mate. A fan of the Rovers Chat channel. He was here last week, so we'll bring him up in a moment. But obviously, the Back to Live thing, of course, you can get your season tickets now if you haven't done so already. I won't be one that will be attending, obviously, due to my location. But for those of you that are there, make sure you're getting involved with season tickets because I'm sure that it is one that we'll be looking forward to, getting fans back into Ewood. And for those who aren't aware, obviously, we've had a bit of conjecture about whether the filed friendly is going to go ahead. If it does, there has been a shirt organised from Macron that won't be the official home shirt for the upcoming season. It's like not even a training shirt. It's like a pre-season match shirt. And the match-worn shirts from that game will be raffled off to any of the season ticket holders who renew their ticket before the game, should it go ahead. So make sure, if you are a present season ticket holder and you haven't yet renewed, renew before kickoff against Filed, and you'll be in with a chance of winning a match-worn shirt if the game goes ahead. Alejandro, of course, from Mexico again, pal, waiting for the news. It's brilliant to see you here. And also anyone else that's here, get yourselves in the comments because then we can shout you out and give you the airtime that you deserve. In terms of international football then, after the first episode, we of course had Thomas Kaminsky, who was called up to the Belgium squad. although Thomas Kaminsky spent as much time at the Euros than Scotland did, as his Belgium team were bounced out by Italy in the quarterfinals. So commiserations to Thomas Kaminsky, and it's a shame that his team have obviously been knocked out. Another Blackburn player whose tournament ended at the quarterfinals was Ben Brereton. Ben Brereton Diaz, absolute revelation in Chile, and it's been amazing to see all the Chilean fans go over to the Rovers or Rovers Instagram or Rovers Twitter, but his tournament was ended by Brazil as they lost 1-0. Horrendous challenge from Gabriel Jesus in that game. If you haven't seen it, go and have a watch. It was absolutely deplorable. But one goal enough. Brio had a decent cameo by all reports after coming on, but was unable to change the result as Chile are knocked out. Of course, England, obviously, despite living in Australia, being an England fan, absolutely loving life at the moment. 4-0 winners over Ukraine in the quarterfinals sends us into the semis against Denmark on Wednesday night. That's a 5 o'clock start for me on Thursday morning. But still can't wait. Obviously, we were class, weren't we? If we're being honest. Kane got the early goal to set things up. Luke Shaw was immense with the balls in. Kane obviously got himself a second goal. We had one also from Maguire. And a first England goal for Jordan Henderson helped England out to a 4-0 win there. In Rome, from Wiltshire Rover, morning Oliver and everyone else watching, good morning to you. Or it would be good evening for me, but morning to the rest of you. I assume most of the viewers, unless you're Alejandro, of course, are watching from England. So it'll be 8:35 a.m. over there. So good morning to you. Hopefully this is helping you get through your work mornings and the like. But we'll have to see. Of course, again, not much on the transfer front, as same as the last episode, really, if we're being honest, which is a shame. Obviously, still no news about whether we're going to be free from the embargo, and obviously the main stuff about, obviously we had Clarkson linked with us from a while ago, but the new one that's come up is another centre midfielder that we could be getting on loan from a Premier League club, and that is Kanya Lishabella from Leicester, a centre mid who made his Premier League debut in a 5-0 win over Sheffield United in March at the King Power Stadium. So another Premier League youngster that we might be getting in. Hopefully we can sign at least one, because we do need some midfield depth, maybe even more. Who knows? But we definitely do need that midfield depth with the likes of Evans going, Downing going, Holtby going. So I have to see what Kanya Lishabella can provide for us if he does sign. We do need a few players though. I saw on the Rovers Analytics Twitter account, I think it was, Charlie Wyke was something that was thrown about. I don't know if that was actually any rumours whatsoever, or whether that was just a signing that we obviously want to happen. Obviously from Sunderland, obviously we think that Adam Armstrong's going to go, so we're going to need a replacement for him if he does leave, and Charlie Wyke wouldn't be a bad one. Obviously Sunderland, they're languishing in League One at the moment. They can't seem to get out of League One, but Charlie Wyke might get a route out if he decides to come to Ewood Park. So Rovers fans in the comments, what do you think of Lishabella and also Charlie Wyke potentially moving to Rovers? For me, two signings that I'd love to see happen. They're realistic, I think, the pair of them. Charlie Wyke maybe less so than the Leicester midfielder, but we'll have to see. And to any Rovers fans out there, who do you want to see come in this window if we can be free of this embargo? Because I think that's the real problem, isn't it? I mean, if we can't sign anyone, then we can't sign anyone. There's not really much we can do about that. But we'll have to sort of see if that changes from there. So if you want to put in your comments to see who we might as well sign or who you want to see sign, realistic, of course, because I know Lionel Messi's come out of contract to Barcelona, but there's no way that he'll be coming down to East Lancashire, as good as that would be. That's the brief transfer stuff. We touched on the kits a little bit. It does look like that the kits won't be ready for Fylde. In fact, the club have actually come out and said that the kit won't be ready for the friendly away at AFC Fylde in a few days' time. That's not too far off now, I don't think. Which would be nice to see Rovers, in some capacity at least, get back to playing football. Of course, the friendly is coming up very, very soon. We're playing it away, so not yet time for Rovers to get back into Ewood Park. But I mean, the tickets did sell out though for Fylde in our end. It's the 10th of July, 3 o'clock kickoff. So the tickets did, of course, sell out from a Rovers point of view. So Rovers fans are obviously eager to get back and watch Rovers play. Obviously, I think there's been a few Rovers fans who've gone to watch England over this summer, and quite rightly too. But of course, they want to get back and watch their club team as well. So the kits aren't quite ready for that game by all reports. Obviously, we have moved to Macron from Umbro. I was quite complimentary of Umbro's kits this season. Obviously, wearing this one again. I will be ordering the Macron one as soon as it comes out, though. Won't be receiving it for a little while, I wouldn't think, due to the fact I'm obviously living in Australia. It takes probably a month from ordering to actually getting the kit. But, building up a nice little collection of Blackburn shirts at the moment. Going to keep that growing. You can see the Gesteb one possibly behind me if I move out of the way. I showed that one off last week. He signed that, which is nice. But yeah, I'm building a nice little collection of Rovers shirts, and I will be ordering. I think I'll order the away one first, if it's any good, of course. Which it will be. I'll order it anyway, whether I like it or not, and I'm sure it will be class. But as we say, the Rovers kit, home or away, will not be ready for that filed friendly, which is slightly frustrating. I think another kit that we quite liked was the training kit. But obviously the one that the players are wearing at the moment won't be put up for sale, which is quite annoying because that home shirt, that training shirt, I know you can see it on the graphic. I might bring that graphic back up just have a look at that training shirt again, because it is something else. If you have a look on the stream here, if I bring that up, you can see the training shirt sort of there, the blue with the sort of, what would you even call it? The design up the top. It's quality, to be fair, but it's not up for sale, which is quite frustrating. But I'm sure whatever kit they do put out, we might have to have a look at. So Ben Hayward was a big fan of Umbro. I think in their later spell, I agree. I think the home and away shirt they put out as a combination is probably the best in this spell with Umbro. Obviously, we've been with Umbro before. But in terms of this spell, in fact, I've actually got... Is this a Umbro shirt here? I've got a shirt here, actually. I know this is a bit of a show and tell every week. This is an Umbro shirt here. This is from way back. This is sort of showing my relative age. This is back from our Premier League days. I'll bring this up. Hold on. I can't remember what season this was, but it's signed. Obviously, Crown Paint, so we're probably thinking late noughties, early 2010s maybe, back in the Premier League days. And that is signed by the whole squad at the time, which is pretty cool. But in terms of this spell, obviously, the first one I look at, I see in the top corner, just above the Umbro double diamond. I don't know if you can see that. That's Michel Salgado. So that's how far back we're going here. I think that's Ryan Nelson with the number 5, as I'm just looking at over here. You're not going to be able to see that, but tons of Rovers players have signed this, which is absolutely class. But that's showing my age a little bit. I'm only still 17, but it's one of those back in my day kind of things. I'm sounding like a pensioner at this point, but that is, of course, okay. Alejandro, I would rather sign 2 or 3 players. Lancashire's good options. Blackpool, Accrington, Morecambe. They have some interesting players. Obviously, we were linked with Carlos Mendes Gomez from Morecambe, but he's since gone to Luton Town. Obviously, Blackpool, the really interesting one is Jerry Yates. Did really well for them at the end of the season. Obviously, Ellis Sims, we were linked with a little while ago. He's obviously was on loan at Blackpool last season, has gone back to Everton. Obviously, former Blackburn youngster Ellis Sims. So there are a lot of good players currently playing in Lancashire for various Lancashire clubs, but we'll have to sort of see whether we go there or not. But definitely some options to consider. Of course, Alejandro again. Umbro did really good in the end, especially away in third kits. I think the third kit from 1920, the sort of, I don't even know if you'd call it a half and half, but with the sort of checkered square sort of pattern down the side of the badge there, was quite nice. The sort of navy blue one. I remember that always selling out. I always wanted to get it. And after the 5-0 win against Sheffield Wednesday, where we actually wore that shirt, there was a 20% sale, I remember there being, and there was one shirt left in my size, and someone obviously had ordered it, but sent it back after they realised there was a bit of a defect with it. There's a slight little hole in the 10bet sponsor that's barely even noticeable, and it had Sam Gallagher's name set on the back, and it is honestly one of my favourite Blackburn shirts, especially in my lifetime. But that's definitely the third kit. In terms of away kits, though, yeah, they're a bit hit and miss. Obviously, the yellow one was quite nice, but pretty simple. The away one from 1920, not really that much of a fan of, to be fair. The grey and the sort of the green. But this season's away, yeah, brilliant. Red and blue, absolutely quality. Totally agree there. Yeah, definitely. Some interesting kits there that we've had a look at before. In terms of our other friendlies, we'll just go over those again. We went over those last week, of course, but we will go over those again just for a bit of housekeeping. Why not? So Bradford is on the 24th of July, 3 p.m. kickoff. I'm trying to just compute in my brain because obviously these are all in Melbourne time, and obviously that doesn't really help a lot of you out there. So it's 24th, 3 p.m. kickoff away at Valley Parade. Then we have got Leeds United, 7:30 p.m. kickoff, 28th of July. We've got Bolton at 3 p.m. on the 31st of July. Before we obviously start our season at home to Swansea at on the 7th of August rather, at 3 p.m. Then we've got the cup game against Morecambe, looking like on the I think that's on the 10th or the 9th. In fact, I think it might be on the 10th. Of course, not yet. The time hasn't. I think the time just released. Was it 10 p.m. 3 o'clock? I'll have to see because obviously it still says to be decided on Google, but we'll have to of course see. I think the time's been released. But we'll have to sort of see what happens. In fact, it won't be 3 o'clock, will it? Of course it won't, because it's a midweek. But anyway, we've got Morecambe coming up early on. Obviously, a club we mentioned before. Sky Blue home and yellow away kits were beauties. I forgot about the Sky Blue home, to be fair. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. But obviously, we need to go off the tangent after talking about kits. But yeah, definitely, the Sky Blue one was decent enough. Of course, anything else on the agenda from Rovers fans? Have you got any comments, any interesting transfers, or any players you want to see play early on? Obviously, at the moment, we've got the training pictures have come out, and obviously we talked about all the players that we want to see. There was a few obviously calling for Ryan Ambe, of course. Why wouldn't you want a player? He is Tyrese Dolan. I might actually pose a quick question for anyone out there at the moment. Who will be the player that you think will re-emerge? Maybe not out of nowhere, but who will be the player that will sort of come out of relative nowhere to do well for Rovers? Because I know Tyrese Dolan won't come out of nowhere, but I think he'll be a really key player for us this season. On the outer slightly, I know he made 40 appearances, but obviously with Harvey Elliott there, he found it really tough to crack into the starting 11. So I think Tyrese Dolan will be one player that will do brilliantly for us, I think, this season, and should be starting most of the games, if not all of them, for Rovers. Obviously started the season so well, had a goal against Wickham, goal against Derby, and we thought, absolute world beater. Didn't really get as many chances as he would have liked starting straight from the off, but when he did play, he was brilliant for Rovers, I thought. So I think he'll be the one that will play well this season and hopefully get more starting spots. In terms of training again, though, just moving back onto that, we are in Stirling in Scotland at the moment. A bit of a training camp of sorts. We've moved away from the senior training centre at Brock Hall just for the relative moment. I don't know how long we're in Scotland for, but we are for the moment, of course. So it's good to see us getting out on the track there and hopefully readying ourselves up for this season. I suppose back onto transfers, though, one player that I did see in that training picture was Adam Armstrong. Of course, I think he smashed one top bins, which I thought was very nice to see. Hopefully he's doing that more in blue and white and not elsewhere. But there's been varying reports from across, I think it was Alan Nixon, I think put the main one out, saying that, maybe there has been bids, maybe there hasn't been bids, and it wasn't sure what really happened there. Apparently there's not been a bid yet for Adam Armstrong, despite what has otherwise been reported. Southampton and West Ham still circling the current Rovers number 7, so hopefully he doesn't leave, but it doesn't look like there's been a bid as of yet. And I think especially with Brio coming back as well, you'd want to think that those two next season might be absolutely brilliant. Obviously Brio's been insane for Chile this summer. Even all the fans going onto the Twitter has been amazing from a Chile point of view, but on the pitch as well, he's been amazing for Chile. So hopefully him and Armstrong can link up next season, and from there, who knows? Because it could be quite amazing. Wiltshire Rover helping us out here in the comments section, due back from Scotland on Friday. So then we'll be back at Brock Hall, I would imagine, and readying up for that filed friendly, which is scheduled for the end of the week. That might not go ahead. Obviously, the concerns around that filed friendly were, of course, due to the fact that Barnsley were meant to be playing there earlier on in the week, and their friendly got cancelled because of COVID restrictions, I think it was. So that friendly obviously got canned. So obviously there was the the sort of apprehension as to whether Blackburn would be playing there. For the moment, we are alleged to be playing there, so I think that's what we go off. We can't go with the doomsday scenario. We've had too many doomsday scenarios. Let's look at some positivity. Surely we're playing against Filed. That's what we're all hoping for. But if it's not Filed, then it will be Bradford just a little bit later, at which point the kits should be ready. There's so much conjecture about kits every single season. They don't mean much, do they? They just look cool. But I obviously understand it as a massive Rovers fan wanting to get the shirts and stuff ready. But who knows? Alejandro had answered that question previously. If you are just joining us, I sort of asked the question as to whether who will emerge for Rovers next season. Maybe not out of nowhere, but who will be the player that sort of we'll be talking about that we maybe aren't now. I don't know if emerge, but Travis has to confirm an option as first team player. I think he already is, but I sort of see your point. Like, take himself to the next level. I think every single Rovers fan would have Lewis Travis at full fitness, starting, as a 6, maybe in a 3-man midfield. But no, Travis is definitely a starter, a first-team player, but maybe go to that next level. I agree there, and Dolan needs more minutes. I mean, early on in the season, before we signed Harvey Elliott on loan from Liverpool, we saw what Tyrese Dolan could do. And this next comment has made me laugh a little bit from Chris Hayes, which we'll get onto in a moment. But yeah, Dolan needs more minutes because when he played, he looked electric, didn't he? But we'll sort of have to see where that one goes. Chris Hayes, the comment I alluded to, Brayton Armstrong Diaz, bad, could be electric next season. There's the one. We sort of had it last season, didn't we? Where we sort of tried to find a little, MSN sort of style acronym. You could also go BAT, Brereton, Armstrong Tyrese could go BAT, maybe, who knows. But the one thing that I'm pointing out from here, you've got Ben Brereton, BB, Adam Armstrong, AA, and Tyrese Dolan is sort of ruining that a little bit. But of course, we don't mind too much. Ben Hayward, again, as an artist, I want Rovers to look good. Clarify what you mean by artist, mate, because it might be worth having to talk about what you do. Just sell yourself to the Rovers Chat fan base here. What sort of art are you looking for? Is it to do with photography? Is it videography? What sort of stuff are you doing, mate? Because it may well be worth giving yourself a bit of a shout out. Bad sounds so good. I don't know if that's pun intended, but yeah, it does sound decent, doesn't it? It works quite well. If that, of course, comes to fruition, but we don't know if Adam Armstrong's sticking about, but maybe we can also get another striker starting with a surname starting with A. Anyway, even if Armstrong, of course, does leave. But I like this, even though if we can't even talk about stuff on the pitch at the moment, we're sort of having a little bit of fun with life as well. In terms of other transfer links, Chima Okoroji, was linked. He's currently on loan at SC Paderborn, on loan from Freiburg in Germany. So he might be one that we might have to look at. He can play centre-half, but he's also known for playing as a left-back. German-born, obviously born in Munich, but we'll have to sort of see. But he was born to an English mother. From Liverpool, so has a little bit of experience with the northwest of England, on the youth books at Augsburg, Bayern Munich as well before that. So maybe he's one we might have to look at. Played a couple of league games for Freiburg, where he's currently on the books, as I said. So maybe he might be one we might have to look at. BAC from Jack Hamer, Brereton, Armstrong, and Chapman. Of course, Harry Chapman back in the mix, did brilliantly, didn't he, for Shrewsbury Town in League One. A club we obviously know a lot about, with obviously Benno going there, and also the League One season we had to tussle it out with them quite a lot for the majority of that season. But obviously Harry Chapman being back, obviously he did speak about wanting to prove the critics wrong in his interview after he did sign. So that's something that he'll definitely have to do, one would think, because this is a massive season in terms of his Blackburn Rovers career. Obviously came in initially on loan from Middlesbrough during our League One season, performed so well then before his season was cut short due to injury. So hopefully, if we can see him out there on the park, if he can get a full run at it, maybe he can get back to his best. Ben Hayward, maybe illustration and animation, mate. Maybe if we speak to Ryan, we might have to get something sorted, maybe for an intro or something. I don't know if that's something that we want or if that's your forte, but maybe we can get you involved in some capacity. Player I'm looking forward to seeing most this season is Harry Pickering. Yeah, me the same, to be fair. Didn't even mention Harry Pickering, and I probably should have done. Obviously coming in from Crewe, left back, a position that we've needed to sort out for a while. Obviously Amari Bell's gone, Barry Douglas has gone back to Poland. So it'd be interesting to see. That's where Okoroji might come in from Germany, maybe to shore that spot up. Maybe Pickering starts and he comes in, maybe, backup left back, maybe substitute left back, or maybe we can promote someone through the academy. That's where it would be nice to have Joe Harvey here. Obviously, he was here last week as to see who the academy left backs are that we might be having to have a look at, or even the academy players in general who might be able to break through into the senior side. Obviously, we know about the likes of Dan Pike, Jake Garrett, obviously coming on the show in a little while's time. We'll bring that back up again just to sort of see which of the academy players is coming onto the show. So we've got Jake Garrett, Sam Barnes, Louis Annesley, and Dan Pike coming on. So maybe one of those could be getting into the senior team at some point this season. But who knows? Of course, there could be a lot of other players who, of course, come in. Obviously, Dan Pike would probably be playing right back. I don't know if he's played left back before, but obviously played right back through most of his academy career. So he might be one that comes up, but we'll have to sort of see. So if Joe Harvey is here, it would be nice to sort of get some clarity on that if there are any academy players that might well pop in. But otherwise, we don't know. I think the only left back that's getting close is Lenny Ray Chirino, unless I'm forgetting someone. Obviously, signed his first senior contract in the summer, so thanks, El Scotty. That's probably a fair comment, of course. We need to get the Tosin Adebayo style chant for Lenny Ray Chirino, because I think that one works. Obviously, Chris Hayes chiming in there as well. But the magic one with Lenny Ray instead of Tosin might work, especially if he can establish himself in the first team for years to come. But definitely one that I'm looking forward to see play in the blue and white halves. So he looks like one that could emerge through. I don't actually know how much experience Lenny has in terms of academy football, but he has signed his first deal. Of course, signed it earlier on in the summer. Born in 2003, so he's currently 18. So maybe give him a little bit more time in the under-23s. Obviously played there a couple of times at the end of last season, but we may have to give him a little bit more time there before he plays in the senior team. But definitely want to keep an eye out for this season, I should think. So thanks to El Scotty and to Chris Hayes for helping us out there. In terms of other signings, though, if we go back there, we might have to. I think a left back is probably the spot that we need the most. Obviously, with Pickering coming in, obviously without him, we don't really have a senior left back on the books, which is quite, an interesting problem to have. It's an annoying problem to have. And even the left backs, when they did play last season, Barry Douglas at his best was decent. Amari Bell has, shown his best, or shown, patches of his best, as to why we signed him from Fleetwood Town, but could never really show that consistently, in my opinion. But he's gone off to Luton, who I think have got themselves a player if he can play at his best, Amari Bell. They're a club at the moment, Luton Town, who are looking good on the transfer front. They've signed a lot of players. Obviously, Mendes Gomez, we talked about before, being one of them. But down there at Kenilworth Road, they are cooking something up, I think, because at the moment, they could be heading up for an assault on the top six. They've obviously been in the Championship a little while, but maybe this is the season that they get themselves up the top. They are signing a lot of players, so it'll be interesting to see if they can gel. But yeah, I think that's most of what we need to talk about on the agenda for the moment. Obviously, we talked about fixtures very, very briefly early on, obviously with the first game being against Swansea, and then Morecambe and Millwall just after that, if I can get the screen back here. So Alejandro's gone to sleep, so it's getting late. Mate, it's like, didn't you say it was 2:30 when we started the stream last week? So it's heading up to 3 a.m. That's completely fair. I mean, fair play for staying up to tune into the stream, which is class. But yeah, have a good one, mate. Chris Hayes, wouldn't be surprised to see JLC users covering for Harry Pickering, got Nyambe and Pike as right backs too. Fair point. Obviously, JLC is about as versatile as it gets in that first team squad at the moment. So we've definitely got a lot at right back, haven't we? With Dan Pike probably going to get his breakout season this year, I should think. Ryan Nyambe got one more season at least left at the club after triggering that extension, which will be nice to see. Obviously, we don't want Ryan Nyambe leaving, to be fair. But JLC, when he did play for Rovers last season, he did look decent, in my opinion. So hopefully he gets the chance to play, even if it is on the other flank. But we'll have to see if that works out well. But definitely an option that we could use if we need to. I'm probably just about to wrap up the stream in the next few minutes or so. So if there's any more comments that you want us to have a go through, I will do so before wrapping it up just in a little while. But I suppose the things to take out of this, in terms of transfers, Lisha Bella from Leicester is the one we're sort of looking at. Obviously, Brio and Thomas Kaminsky out of their respective international competitions after they were both knocked out. Season tickets, we've got the Back to Live thing going on. So if you do need to pre-order your season ticket, make sure you do so. It doesn't look like there's any comments in at the moment, so we may well wrap this one up. Just another reminder, of course, that we do have the quiz coming up, the charity quiz. So we'll bring up those prizes again. Obviously, we've got the signed boots and the signed shirts and the like. If we just take the Chris Hayes comment off the screen, I know we said said about airtime, but we want to make sure that these prizes are shown in their full light. So we've got the Bennett boots, we've got the Rothwell shirt, the £40 voucher from our great sponsors, 6 Yards Out, and we've got the £25 voucher as well for the Radio Rovers store. We've got the match ball for this upcoming season, the away kit for this upcoming season, and a John Buckley signed kit for 2021. So I think that just about does it. If we're being honest, if we just have another look at that Elliot Bennett, we need to have another look at that fist bump, to be honest. It's absolutely brilliant how well he's done for Rovers. We wish him well into the future, of course. But that's where I will sign off. I've been Oliver Walker-Peel. Pleasure to bring this second Rovers Chat episode of Breakfast with Rovers Chat to you. Have a good day at work or at school or whatever you're doing. And of course, I will remind you, I'll sign off by saying that we are sponsored, of course, by Blue Rose Capital and 6yardsout.com.
The Rovers Chat YouTube channel is proudly sponsored by 6yardsout.com. They've got retro football from every era with mugs, phone cases and much more. They also have plenty of Rovers goods, including apparel with the famous 94-95 season and this season's kit. Check them out using the link in the description below.